So here's Highway 59, Cloud Creek. We are just north of 412 now. Here's 511 Road, the rotation right around here getting into Cloud Creek. If you are in Cloud Creek, you need to be in your tornado safe place now. Do not waste time. This is the time to take action. So at the rotation just on the south side of 511 Road, coming into the intersection of 511 Road and Highway 59 here. Here's 116 and Concord. You may get missed by this, but you are close enough to be taking this storm seriously too. As we bring this up a little bit more, kind of looking downstream on where we're going to have to watch for this storm to move next. I'm going to have to zoom this in just a little bit more. We may actually not have as many roads in this area, which means we may not have as much of a population. There's Sycamore just to the north, just to the east of Jay. Sycamore, you need to be in your tornado safe place too, because if this holds together, that is where this storm is headed. As we continue to get updates with this, it does continue to look like it's weakening, and it doesn't look like we have as strong of that classic hook with it either. Things are starting to become a little more disorganized, just like James was saying. This is very close to the boundary that we've been talking about all day. As it gets on the cooler side of it, it's going to have a harder time holding together, but because of how strong it already was, it's going to be able to hold together a little bit longer than other storms would be able to. Still the threat of extremely strong winds and the potential for a tornado currently ongoing in these areas. Debris tracker not quite as clear on if we have debris lofted, but like James was saying, we've had reports of power flashes along Highway 59 here. And just take this storm very seriously. This tornado warning still in effect until 11:30. That's 30 minutes still that we could have more damage as we go through Delaware County. I am expecting this to track just to the north of Concord. If I did a storm track on this, it's not going to pick up many towns, but I can tell you, if you are in front of this storm, just take shelter. We are starting to get a little bit closer to the Arkansas state line. We're about halfway through Delaware County now, directly over Highway 59, just north of 116 here. So let's come in a little bit closer. And this is really our one concern right now as we take a look at those winds. Those are pretty strong. Might have some side load contamination, some bad data in there, but still very clear signs of at least some broad rotation with this. And we're talking just to the north of Cloud Creek. So again, here's 511 Road, and actually that may have a different name since there's some turns in there. I'll come in a little bit closer. Yeah, 501 Road, just like I thought. So here's 501 Road, Highway 59. This is kind of the center of rotation that we're watching currently. This has had a history of being extremely dangerous, and as we get another velocity update there, we can zoom that out just a little bit more. It's looking much messier now, and the debris tracker not showing us a ton. Doesn't mean it's not happening. It's just not as evident as we take a look at this. So again, kind of a wide view of things. We have Delaware County, Little Kansas, Concord, Jay, all included in this tornado warning. This takes us all the way to the Arkansas border. And there's an update kind of taking off the back end of this as this continues to move on. Still in effect until 11:30. Very dangerous situation. We were tracking this as it started to develop. We were tracking this as it moved through Leech with debris evidence of this tornado occurring on the ground. So this is just one of those storms that we're gonna have to watch to see if it cycles up again. We haven't seen it do that just yet. It's still kind of on that weakening phase, but it will have the potential to do that again, especially since it's very close to the boundary of cooler, more stable air to the north and very warm, humid, unstable air to the south. If it can tap into that unstable air a little bit more, we might be able to see it cycle back up, and it's very close to that boundary. So this is going to be something that we have to keep our eyes on so closely. As we take a look at this update right here, here's Jay. This is coming just to the south of there. Concord, you're getting in close to this storm too. And on the even wider view of things, this is our only tornado warning currently ongoing. There is a severe thunderstorm warning still for southeast corner of Tulsa County, large portion of Wagner County, Rogers and Mays County too. But our biggest concern is that tornado warning currently going on in Delaware County. But overall, things starting to look like they're coming down, but still a very dangerous situation. We have our full Fox 23 weather team tracking these storms tonight. This is really what we were concerned about, as we've been talking about this for probably about a week now, that we had the potential for very strong storms, and this is exactly what we have been worried about. So James, we're continuing to track this, and even though it looks like it's starting to weaken, this is still a very dangerous situation, and our biggest concern right now, as you were saying, still power flashes along Highway 59.
Yeah, and again, we're watching that circulation very closely, but we also have a developing flood threat across a wide swath of eastern Oklahoma right now, and more rain continues to develop further to the west too. And you can see this is the flash flood warnings, and these actually go all the way up to Springfield, Missouri, but draw that line from just to the south of Little Kansas all the way down to Oklahoma City. Pretty much anywhere north of that line, including Tulsa, Bartlesville, Claremore, Nowata, you've got a flash flood warning posted right now. If there's two counties out of our viewing area without flash flood warnings north of that line, it's Montgomery and Chautauqua County at this point. So still widespread flooding issues. Meteorologist Brad Carl is looking at some of those rainfall totals, and I'm just watching reports of roads closed just tick by right now on our screen. Flooding in Beggs, Highway 16 underpass under the railroad, Old Highway 75 north of town, under the railroad. That one closed now too, as high water is making a lot of low crossings and dips in roads just completely impassable. And Brad, we've also had some power outages too, but you've got to look at some of those rain totals for us.
Yes, there's been a lot to track as far as what's been going on across the area. One of the big things, one of the videos we just started to get on in was actually some flooding right in downtown Tulsa. This is actually gotten from Jackie Del Pilar from a viewer she ended up finding of the cellar dweller. And you can just see, I know the video is a little bit dark there, but you can see the water running down the walls. You can see the water in on the floor there, and people kind of sloshing their way through the bar. A big mess. Of course, it's in a cellar, so it's in a lower spot. Those are spots that will be more susceptible to flooding. And this is just one of many flooding spots we're seeing. There's some of that water coming down the side of the wall there. And this bar, once again, for those who are familiar with it, is in about the southwest corner of downtown Tulsa. One of the other spots particularly concerning, and I'm actually going to go ahead and bring up, I want to bring up the mesonet. So let's go ahead and go back on into Weather 4 behind me. Thank you there very much. We're getting reports out of Hominy that their emergency management is having to evacuate people from the south side of that town. That's in Osage County. That's the spot that's been seeing a lot of rainfall, upwards of around 4 to 5 inches. We have reports from their emergency management of them evacuating people with their fire department from homes that have literally 4 or 5 feet of water in them. So that's turning into a very dangerous situation in portions of central Osage County. Look how high some of the rainfall totals have ticked up a little farther off to the east. In Skiatook, almost 6 inches of rainfall. That rain continues. It's not coming down as heavy as it was, but when you're dealing with that much rainfall, it doesn't take much more to cause significant problems. So if you're in any portion of Osage or near there, really north or northwest of Tulsa, you are likely dealing with some very dangerous flash flooding in spots. A lot of road reports in terms of the roads that are closed. I was just looking at a Facebook post from the Claremore Police Department of several of their roads that were impassable. We have roads, looks like Jackie Del Pilar is reporting along Lynn Lane and Cedar Avenue. This is over in Broken Arrow. So we have a lot of spots across the area that are now dealing with flash flooding. Hopefully by now at this point, since it is 11 o'clock at night, long after when most people will be out, we don't have a whole lot of people out on the roads, because you certainly don't need to be with the rain coming down this hard and certainly causing some significant flooding concerns across the area, in addition to what was apparently a very strong tornado for areas off to the east out toward portions of Delaware and Cherokee County. So on one side of the viewing area, still dealing with the possibility of spin-up tornadoes, including some that, if they root themselves correctly, could still be very strong. And on the other side, farther up to the north and northwest, devastating flooding potentially, with causing some evacuations across the area. So it has indeed been very messy for many folks, whether it comes to the possibility of some of those tornadoes as well as some of that heavier rainfall. across the area. I also want to kind of give you a look at some of the other things we've been tracking as far as some of the reports that have been coming on in. So once again, last report I had seen from PSO, some 3,000 people in areas around Owasso out of power right now. Around the rest of the metro, it's been pretty spotty overall, but in particular, Owasso is where we've seen the most of those power outages, the majority of them. Pawhuska, another spot, once again in Osage County. The sheriff there has said there's been significant flooding in the area. And then once again, as we already talked about, the Cellar Dweller Bar in downtown Tulsa also experiencing flooding. And the problem is, as that rain continues to kind of accumulate in some of the smaller creeks and tributaries and adds on up, it's just going to end up going in many ways, or many spots, on into the Arkansas River, which will just cause additional concerns for areas around Keystone Lake, the Arkansas River, and areas around Keystone Dam. So there's still more threats ahead with this, even if it takes a day or two for some of those to be known as far as that flooding threat is concerned. And we still have rain coming down across the area. Now starting to shift, as you can see on the left-hand side of your screen, shifting a little farther south of Tulsa, but still there's enough steady rain in there that over several hours that could still be causing lots of problems in terms of flooding. So that overall will be the threat that we really shift to over the next several hours, but still in areas farther south where we still have that boundary, as Laura was talking about, to work with. I'm sorry, could you repeat that, please? Flash flood emergencies. That's for Tulsa?
Parts of northeast Oklahoma, there are more rescues in a mobile home park in Dewey now, too.
So yeah, we have that flash flood emergency now coming for parts of Green Country as well. And we'll get you some more details on that as we gain some more information. But it sounds like due to the heavy rainfall that we've been talking about, as well as the various water rescues that are going on, that flash flood emergency declaration is needed. So it's still going to be a very active, very soggy night for many, and in some spots, unfortunately, even though you're done with the tornado threat, you are now dealing with a pronounced flash flooding threat. James, going to toss it back over to you with the latest on that tornado warned storm off to the east of Tulsa.
Yeah, that continues to sweep toward the east, and again, here's something that's still very troubling. Not only do we have all these flash flood warnings posted, but look out to the west. We've got another band of heavy rain and thunderstorms that will be sweeping in. Notice, though, thank goodness, there aren't severe thunderstorm warnings with this until you get down to Oklahoma City. I think if there's a severe weather threat with this, it's going to stay south of the metro area, but we will have continued enormous amounts of rain from this next line of storms. So we will likely see our flooding problems continue in the metro area. Let me take you back to our tornado warned storm in Delaware County, because we're going to hold this until that gets dropped or that moves out of the state into Benton County in Arkansas right now. But if we were to have a tornado with this storm, it's going to be just in the Colcord area or points to the north. We've talked a lot about the boundary all evening. As we talked just a few minutes ago, this has probably lifted to the north of the boundary, and that's why the extreme rotation and the strong tornado aren't as evident as what we saw a little earlier. We'll take you to correlation coefficient again. I'm really not seeing evidence that we've got a tornado down with this storm right now, and the velocities are significantly weaker as well. But again, we just have that weak, kind of broader, more broad on the rotation across eastern Delaware County and moving again a little bit closer to the Arkansas state line. But we can now drop everybody west of Highway 59. You are safe as this rotation continues to move to the east. So we can give you the all clear west of Highway 59. There's the new flash flood warning from the National Weather Service. I presume that is the flash flood emergency. Yep. Let's see. This is all going to be mainly just to the north of Tulsa. This is going to be Hominy, Pawnee, Bartlesville, Skiatook, Dewey. This is going to go all the way until 5:15 in the morning. 4 to 6 inches of rain have fallen. Additional heavy rain is on the way. We've got, I'm going to run down some of the towns in this flash flood emergency because there are a slew. We start with Bartlesville, Pawhuska, Pawnee, Skiatook. Those are the big four. Hominy, Dewey, Cleveland, Fairfax, Barnesdall, Winona, Jennings, Avant, Vera, Ramona, Oshaleta, Ralston, Westport, Osage, Blackburn. If you're in that area, just stay where you are if you are in a place of safety. This is going to be very dangerous. We've got a lot of roads underwater. Of course, it's dark, it's cloudy. We have no light in a lot of places, no electricity going to be very hard to see where you're traveling, but that is the new flash flood emergency zone right across central Osage County, central Pawnee County, and clipping that northwest corner of Tulsa County in the Skiatook area. And this goes all the way for most of Washington County too. High water rescues underway in many places, not just from driving, but as we track also Mobile Home Park in Dewey, we're doing some high water rescues there, and there are some shelters opening in northern Washington County as well. So this is, as we feared, we'd have a tornado threat. We would see this transition into a flooding threat, and indeed that is what's happening, and a widespread flooding threat at that, because we continue with the heavy rain across parts of Osage County. I'm going to kick on, we'll see kind of where the heaviest rain has been. I'm going to zoom right into just northwest of Tulsa now, and where we're picking out some of those darker red. Actually, it looks like this whole red zone all the way up over most of Osage County. That is some very heavy rain, likely seeing some flooding in that spot too. I'm going to look at a couple of Mesonet rain totals while I've got this up right now. In parts of Osage County, we've got 4 3/4 of an inch. Pawhuska, more than 5 inches of rain has fallen in the gauge. Fairfax, in fact, 5.5 inches of rain. Let's see, another creek overflowing northwest of Broken Arrow. We'll get to that creek, but that's one of the smaller ones, Battle Creek. Okay, so a lot of folks close to Battle Creek, but hopefully not, this is just overflowing in open country across north, basically 145th, 51st, 61st area in there. So we still have our tornado warning ongoing in eastern parts of Delaware County. That storm looks like it's just about to move out of the state. Officially, the warning is in effect for about 12 more minutes. We're going to continue to track this until it does move out of the state, moving just past Concord right now. We don't have the obvious indication that we've got a tornado down with it right now, but it's still some very strong rotation that we're going to watch very closely too until it moves out of our area. So that's it. Now to the east of Concord, we can check velocities. They have been fairly messy over the last couple of minutes as this starts to move off that boundary that we've talked about, that front. Starts to spread out a little bit, lose a little bit of low-level focus. And when you're generating tornadoes, the low-level focus is really what's the most important. You can see maybe right along 116, we've still got a little bit of broad rotation here east of Concord, but again, this is certainly much weaker rotation than what we saw earlier when we had a strong tornado touch down in northern parts of Cherokee County and move into Delaware County too. So the tornado warning continues in effect there. We continue in the metro area to see the heaviest rain east side of the city of Tulsa, curving back through Broken Arrow, south parts of Bixby, Glenpool, Liberty, Mounds, Kiefer, Sapulpa, and the next round of rain is moving in from the west too. This is kind of a long band of very heavy rain now, just about to move back into Pawnee. That's one of the reasons why this flash flood emergency has been posted. National Weather Service continuing that tornado warning until 11:30. Just got the new update there from the National Weather Service, so not too much longer to go with that tornado warning as we continue to track that circulation very close to the state line. So we'll be thankful that it moves across the state line out of Oklahoma. It does not look at this point like a tornado warning will be extended into parts of Benton County in Arkansas, but we're right on the edge. We're going to be able to drop this one here in just a minute or two and really focus our attention on where we've seen damage and where we are seeing ongoing flash flooding. So stay where you are if at all possible tonight. It's going to be lots of flooded roads. Lots of roads are already closed too. I've run down some of those, but the list's probably a little too long to mention. I'm going to bring Clay and Shay in just a couple of minutes once this tornado warned storm, at least the circulation, moves out of the state, and it's right on the state line right now. So if we've got any circulation at all, it's in that extreme northeastern corner of Delaware County now to the east of Jay. This is Highway 20 right through Sycamore, and then you have the state line right here, and we still have that circulation taking place right in here. It's not very strong. It's still there though. It's been a very persistent circulation as this storm developed very quickly in parts of Wagoner County and then moved into Cherokee County, where it got strong really fast and put down a tornado. In fact, one thing that we can do is just I can show you exactly just how long of a track we think that tornado had. So it touched down in the northeastern corner of Cherokee County and moved into southern parts of Delaware County. And I'll just drag this over here and we'll use the measuring tool here. It looks like to me it touched down just to the southwest of Peggs, moved all the way up to close to Leech. So 19, 20 miles or so on the ground from the northwest corner of Cherokee County into southern Delaware County. And now we saw the circulation. In fact, that first tornado warning was issued for it as it crossed the Muskogee Turnpike, passed just to the southeast of Wagoner. Wasn't particularly strong at that point, strong enough to prompt a warning. And as it moved close to Peggs, Laura was watching it closely on the radar, called out that rapid intensification. And that's when the tornado touched down. Lots of street flooding. There's a new report in Owasso right now, too. Current picture shows that circulation just about to move out of the state into Arkansas. In fact, it's on the state line. So we're going to throw things back to Clay and Shay for now. We will continue to watch all of the storms moving our way because more heavy rain is moving into the metro area too. And that's all that we have left. The circulation now crossing the state line into Benton County and Arkansas, moving out of our coverage area. We'll continue to cover the flash flood warnings, of course. That's going to be a much bigger problem for us overnight. Clay and Shay?
All right, we have seen, boy, a number of tornadoes touch down across the state this afternoon and tonight.
Yeah, here's a look at one out of Mangum in Greer County. Now, the Department of Public Safety says this tornado, wow, closed State Highway 34 for about an hour and a half because of debris on the road. And of course, we've been telling you throughout the night and leading up to today's storms to download the Fox23 news and weather apps. And we want to make sure you do that before you go to bed tonight if you haven't already, so you can stay alert to storms as they move through the area.
Also closely monitoring reports of flooded creeks and streets, and it's hard to see the difference between some of those. So look at the video we shot of heavy rain in Pawnee. Authorities already closed Highway 18 in the community of Ralston. They are encouraging people not to drive tonight, as high water can be hard to see until you're right on top of it.
Absolutely. And a viewer shared this video of the flooding tonight in Hominy. Many of the streets are flooded there. More rain has since fallen since this video was shared with us. And meteorologist Brad Carl mentioned earlier there are evacuations tonight on the south side of Hominy with up to 5 feet of water in some homes. A new video in tonight from Sand Springs. Take a good look. This was taken by a relative of Fox23, Sarah Hart. Now it's dark because it was shot obviously tonight, but when the lightning flashes, look at that. You can see what appears to be a tornado.
All right, now to some video from Midtown. There was someone driving down 15th Street near Trenton. Let's bring the sound up if we can. Yeah, you can hear just how hard that rain was coming down. This is just before 10 this evening. This was taken by one of our producers who's out and about. It shows just how wet it is there tonight. Many parts of the area look just like this. Also has some new video in from East Tulsa. Let's look at that. This is thanks to viewer Matt Moreland for shooting this. You can see there's some storm debris in the area of 129th and Admiral. A shed was blown over. There are also broken pieces of signs in the road. There is, this is not far from 244 in Mingo, Shay, where we picked up what appeared to be a brief tornado tonight.
That's right. It was something that popped up close to the airport earlier tonight and was making its way, northeast. PSL
now reports about 4,600. It says 45. It's closer to 46 right now. 100 homes and businesses without power. Largest concentration of outages in our area, Owasso, near 116th and Garnett, where some 3,400 customers were without power. That's down, though, to about 2,400. Those PSO crews are working fast. And James mentioned before he tossed it back over to us about some flooding reports in Owasso. I've been monitoring some of the pictures you've been sharing with us. Thank you for doing that. I've seen also some of my friends in Owasso posting on Facebook. It seems to be along 86th Street, right outside the 8th grade center and over in the Preston Lakes community. There is some street flooding there. There's a creek that runs between Preston Lakes and Centennial Park that's known to flood that road in the area. They've done a lot of work to try to keep that from happening. But with the amount of rain we've seen tonight, you can't help that from happening. We're also hearing about more flooded streets now in the Tulsa area. Let's get back to Kaylee Doherty. Yeah, she's reporting live from Midtown Tulsa. Kaylee, roadblocks are up near 5th and Utica.
Yes, Utica is still closed right now between 5th and 6th Street. Take a look. City officials are out here. They're checking the road right now because the water just went down significantly just since we've been out here. Earlier, where they're standing was completely covered in water. Take a look. You can see over here where they have the road blocked off at 5th and Utica. And then just to my right, the right of that city truck there, is a car and a van that I'm told both actually stalled out in the water that was so high on the road here. It's been amazing to see how quickly it has gone down now, but earlier it was a substantial amount that was enough to stall cars like this. So thankfully city officials got out here, blocked off the road. We did see a couple of people that went around the barricades, which officials advise you to never do in this situation. But thankfully the water's gone down enough for them to be out here assessing the road to see if there's any damage that needs to be repaired after the water was so high here. So I'll check with them once they're done assessing it and see what they find out, and I'll let you know as soon as I have an update. Reporting live in Midtown Tulsa, covering news that matters, I'm Kaylee Doherty, Fox 23 News.
All right, Kaylee, and seeing low-lying street flooding like that is something we're seeing across Green Country right now. In fact, it's so spread out that law enforcement is having a tough time giving us a good description of where everything is having some trouble.
Clearly, they're very busy tonight. Fox 23's Jackie Del Pilar found one such flooded area in Broken Arrow. She's reporting live with what she can see right now.
Clay and Shay, it's a similar story here in Broken Arrow where there are just so many spots that are affected that it's hard for us to narrow down and really show you a good representation. I'll show you where I'm at right now. We are near Kenosha and Elm, where you can see police have partially blocked the road here due to flooding over the road. We have seen several cars go through, so it's not completely shut down, but police are here making sure that everyone is staying safe tonight. Now, Broken Arrow has an app. It's called the Pulse Point app. It's for emergencies, and the fire department will send out push alerts when they're responding to things. And in the past 30 minutes, I got 4 to 5 alerts that they were out here doing water rescues. So we were driving around trying to find those rescues, and we found a couple, but they had cleared by the time we got there, or the road was blocked off from way far down because it was just too unsafe for us to get over there. I spoke with police earlier, probably about 10 o'clock, and they were telling me that they have been in their command center all night, along with emergency management and firefighters, keeping an eye on everything here tonight. It was probably about 9:10, maybe just before that tonight, when we heard the first round of tornado sirens go off. So we went inside, and that's when the skies just opened up, and it was just heavy rain from there on out. Oh, looks like we've got some movement from police here. So yeah, the rain has just been absolutely coming down for an hour and a half now, and the roads just can't handle it. Police say they do have some areas that they see flooding with, and any time we have a lot of rain like this. They were telling me 101st and Garnett is a problem area. Over by the dog park, they see a lot of flooding because of the Hakey Creek over there. So they said they didn't have any confirmed spots for me at the time, but they said if there are any spots that you know generally have some flooding issues in Broken Arrow, it's probably a safe bet. You should avoid those areas, and of course, just use extreme caution if you have to be out on the roads tonight. Hopefully, most people are inside by now, but if you do have to go out, I urge you to use extreme caution. Definitely listen to all these first responders who are out here trying to keep us safe. Reporting live in Broken Arrow, covering news that matters, I'm Jackie Del Pilar, Fox 23 News.
Oh, that water's just draining off fast.
Yeah, so fast. And James was just telling us from across the studio here that he is getting reports of cars being flooded at Broken Arrow. Not hard to imagine when you see that much water running across the streets there. Flooding so bad tonight in Hominy. Let's head back there now to Osage County, the town of Hominy, where we're seeing such severe flooding and some evacuations tonight, Shay. Yeah, Fox 23's Justin Air picks up our live team coverage there. Justin, there have been quite a few rescues tonight.
Yeah, I'm near Highway 99 and 20 in Hominy right now. Take a look behind me here. I got to show you what I'm seeing. I have counted 1, 2, 3 cars at least halfway up filled with water. Now, again, I'm on Highway 99 and 20. It looks like we have a couple first responders trying to get a car out in the middle of the road right here. We haven't had a chance yet to talk with any first responders here on scene, but what I can tell you is there are cars backed up on the road. It doesn't look like they are letting them pass a certain area of Highway 20. But as you can see right now, we have severe flooding going on right now. As I said, water halfway up between some of these cars here, all the way down into this neighborhood. We're going to be out here and figure out what is going on, what their plan is. It is still raining hard. We've seen lightning, we've heard thunder, and it just does not seem to be lighting up anytime soon. We'll be out here to give you a new hit in the next few minutes. We're live in Hominy, covering news that matters. I'm Justin Ayer, Fox 23 News.
Yeah, Justin and Shay, we were talking about this. 5 feet of water in some homes.
Yeah, so scary. Such a scary situation.
Yeah.
Even just to see your car parked out there and the water rising, but to have it coming into your homes, absolutely devastating for some people tonight. Now we want to show you some new pictures we just received from Collinsville tonight. You can see the water is high at this gas station.
Yeah, and not only that, in some of the pictures you could see it was just turbulence, and it was without the cars moving there. Look at that gas station. Just is how much water now is in the actual store. Who knows? But there's a lot of cleanup to be had there. And again, more rain still coming.
Right, and this picture was taken by Larry Lee, given to us here at Fox 23. Firefighters there in Collinsville do have the road shut down there as well.
So how much water is still coming? Let's check with Fox 23 Chief Meteorologist James Adelot. James, bring us up to date.
Yeah, we are still trying to tabulate some of these rain totals. We're getting a lot in gauges above 5 inches, especially in parts of Washington, northwest Tulsa, and Osage County, back into Pawnee County too. And that means what fell in the gauges, we probably had more in between those rain gauges. Rain gauges aren't everywhere, and there's a lot of space in between them, even with the Oklahoma Mesonet. As you look right now,